Welcome to TOL Studios, and today in Lesson 8 we're going to take a look at a few more major scales, and I'm going to talk about flats, just so you can kind of see what a few scales are with the flat keys. So check out the last few videos. I've shown 5 different scales where we were talking about the sharps. Here we're going to talk about flats. Okay, again, I'll explain later why I know what scale to start on. Just trust me for now, but we're going to take the F scale. Let's do this F. So if that's my first note, and remember, you should know that pattern by now. I'm going to do a whole step, half, then 3 whole steps, finish with a half. If you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely check out the old videos or lessons. So anyway, here's the F. First note, got to go up a whole step. So puts me on a G. First note, second note. There's 1 whole step. G to A is going to be my second whole step. Now the same thing's going to apply that I talked about in the last lesson when you're doing certain scales, that when you'll know to call sharp or flat, because you have to represent every letter. So you can't skip a letter. So like in a minute I'm going to show you if we did a whole step, then if we're here, we've got to go a half step, which is going to put us there. Now you might wonder, am I going to call it A sharp when I go up or B flat? Well, let's look at the beginning of the scale. If I'm on F, and that's the first note, and I go up a whole step, puts me on my G. If I go up another whole step, that's going to put me on the A. So B has to come next, and I have to go whole step, half step now. So I'm on the A, and I've got to do a half step. So B's got to come next, but that's a whole step. So B flat. So it gives us F, G, A, B flat. Now we've got to do a whole step because we're going to do 3 whole steps. So if I go here, I can't do that. It's a half. So I've got to go here. So B flat to a C. Then I've got 2 whole steps left. C to D. D to E is a whole step. That finishes me with my half. So that scale is going to be F first note. G is the second note. There's the first whole step. A would be the third note. There's the second whole step. First half step, A to B flat. So B flat to C is a whole step. C to D, second whole step. D to E, third whole step. Finish with your half. Now, like I've shown you before, most cases you can take your finger combinations. I have seen people do this and just scoot their fingers. You don't want to be back in here. Scoot up a little bit. The only problem with that, if your fingers are a little bit wider, then there's too much chance there. But in this case, that's where this one might feel a little funny, because you're hitting right on the edge. But I'm telling you, I kind of have learned how to do that. It's not as bad on the way back down, because when you cross over, to me it's easier to do that. But see, even here they can kind of get in the way. That's the hardest one right there when you're crossing under. So I have seen people just turn around and just go like up to your 4th finger. So normally we go to thumb, but go 4, then just cross over with your thumb. And that's a smarter way, because you can just play it a little bit smoother. Now again, I'm not saying you have to play fast, but if I do it the original way, it's kind of a little choppy in there, just, because you're fighting that. So it's going to be easier to tell you to just go this finger, then cross. So we don't even really need our pinky at all on that scale for the right hand. Okay, now left hand, I'm just going to start on the same notes. But F, G, A, to B flat. See, this hand's no problem. Then I'll still cross under. So I went 1, 2, 3, cross under, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then if I did those together, this one is a little trickier. Not that the other ones weren't. Especially if I go with my not curl on here. If I just do this finger, crossing, but that kind of puts me on both thumbs, but then I gotta cross over. Crossing like that. See again though, like when you saw my finger, if you have to sit there on that spot, because then I would do that, till finally. I'm just kind of giving you examples, but I'm telling you, if it's anything like mine, it'll probably sound like. Sometimes the fingers, so just do them over and over till they are smooth. Okay, and I know a lot of you guys, or if you're like how I was when I was younger, well, I don't really care about scales. Who cares about it? You're right, but it's going to stretch those fingers. It's good for your tendons and muscles, and truthfully, it lets you memorize those scales. Especially when I start talking about chords, you'll see the notes in the scale. So basically, an F major scale, everything is regular like the C scale, except for the B, it's flatted. So it gives us F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, or whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So we only have that B flat. Okay, if I talk about another scale, if we have a B flat scale, we're going to start on the B flat. We're still going to do the 2 whole steps, half step, 3 whole steps, half step. So B flat, have to go a whole step, puts me on a C. And see, that one you'll kind of get if I say you're starting on a B flat. Obviously, we know we're not going to probably call it A flat here because, hey, you told me it's a B flat. So then you just see it goes up to the second note, or whole step, to a C. Then a C to D is a whole step. So we go whole step, or B flat, C, C to D flat, or sorry, C to D I meant. So B flat, C, D. Now we gotta go a half step, and D is here. So if I go here, I could say it's D sharp, but then I have to use D sharp. And that's what I'm trying to tell you can't do. You gotta go to the next letter. So B flat, C, D, E, flat. So B flat, C, D, E flat. And there's our half step. Then we got 3 whole steps. So E flat to F, whole step. F to G, whole step. G to A is a whole step. And same thing, we got to finish with a half step. But I'm not going to go A sharp, because we're back at what we started on, B flat. So we have B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. Okay, now if I started it here, if I did my... Now again, this one doesn't bug me as bad as the last scale when I crossed under with the F. Some people it might, but you might be able to still cross just like that. But it's a little weird, so this might be another one, where you maybe do a different kind of finger combo. The biggest thing is what you're trying to do is not have to shift twice and do something and move your hand twice. You want to try to only rotate one time. So that's why normally we learn this way first. There's our first rotation. That way it allows us to finish. Then we just repeat it on the way back. Okay, or if maybe you decide to start with a different finger combination. Okay, now there's one. I kind of did 2 crossovers, but I went... Okay, so we'll kind of explore that again when we get more advanced scales. I'm kind of just keeping them as basic as I can. But B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. I'm telling you, for the most part, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, cross under, 1, 2, 3, in that same pattern. If I did it with my left hand, same thing. Going to go pinky, C, 4, D with the 3rd, E flat with my 2nd finger, my F with the thumb, cross over to G with the 3rd, A, ends me with my B flat. Now it's another one, sometimes it feels a little weird. So sometimes you might change your left hand fingers and maybe you don't change the right hand in the same scale. Okay, so we'll kind of, like I said, as we break down scales, we'll look a little bit more at that. But If I do an E flat scale, puts me on an E flat note. So we've had an F major scale, and I had the 1 flat. Then I just showed you the key of B flat major with the B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. If I show you an E flat scale, we're going to have our E flat. So we're still going up a whole step, which puts me on an F, E flat to F. Second whole step will be F to G. Half step from G, not to G sharp, but since I'm on G, A flat. So we got E flat, F, G, A flat. Now I gotta go 3 whole steps. So A flat to B flat is 1 whole step. B flat to C is 1 whole step. C to D is a whole step. Finish with my D, not to a D sharp, but a E flat, half step. So that gives me E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. And again, I'm going to do it up here, but if I go E flat, F, G, I could probably cross under like I did, A flat, B flat, C, D, finish with the pinky, and reverse it the same finger. So I'm going 5 on E flat, D for 4th, third finger on C, B flat for the second finger, thumb on the A flat, cross over, third finger on G, F, second finger, and okay, now I'll admit that feels a little weird, almost like that scale earlier I showed you. It's not so bad on the way down, the way up, it's kind of right on that edge. So the same thing we might explore, maybe start with the second finger. And again, I'll kind of pick up on that a little bit more in some scales as well too. If I go just one more scale, the A flat, same thing, up a whole step. So if I'm on an A flat, I know B has to be the next letter, because if I'm on A flat, even if the flat messes you up, I'm on the letter A, so B has to be the next letter. But if I'm on an A flat, then it has to be a whole step up, which means I'll skip and go here, which means that's a B flat. So A flat to B flat, whole step, B flat, skip this, here there's a whole step, to a C, so whole step, A flat, B flat, C. Now this won't be a C sharp because that is a half step. I'm going to call it a D flat because I'm on C. Now I need a D next, and D flat, or whole step, half step, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. Now I got 3 whole steps, so skip. Puts me here. If I'm on a D flat, that's got to be an E flat, not a D sharp, because I would have had D flat, D sharp. So D flat, E flat, up a whole step, so I'm going to skip it, go here. So E flat, F, 1 more whole step to my G, finish with my half step to an A flat. So it gives me A flat, B flat, C, D, oops, sorry, A flat, my fault, B flat, C, D flat, not the D, so D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. Same thing if I do it this hand, same finger pattern. Okay, same thing, you just do those over and over. And again, it might be like some of the scales where you have to change the fingers. Most of them you won't. If I do it the right hand, that one feels fine to me, so I'm moving them up the same fingers. 1, 2, 3, cross under, thumb, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, A flat, B flat, C, A flat, B flat, C. What I did there too is, now some people, like I said, you might change it, but 1, 2, 3, 1, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, B flat, A flat, G, F, E flat. Then you're gonna hit your thumb on your D flat, cross over to C, D flat. Okay, if you do them together. Now watch, see something like that happens, you just do it again. Okay, to that, like I said, if that's where the problem started. You do it again. But you see, like there, I switched. I'm kind of doing some of these on purpose, but I started to switch fingers. If you pick this way, you want to do it that way every time. So if you add this hand and it starts making you not do this and go, because this one didn't switch, then you got to do that part over and over till you feel like it does switch, meaning I'm curling under, because this was going 1, 4, 3, 2, and then I'm going to go, then cross over. This was supposed to go 1, 2, 3, then cross. That's what I'm talking about. So if you know you're supposed and you're accidentally going, then do it over and over and over and over. Okay? So that gives us 4 flat keys. That gave us the key of F major, which has a B flat. The key of B flat major, which had 2 flats. Then we had the key of E flat major, the key of A flat major. I skipped a couple. There would also be a key of D flat major and a key of G flat major, just as I skipped the key of B major and the sharp keys. I'll pick those up and I'll show you. When we kind of get back into some more things, I'll talk about it. But all those scales are major scales, or they're what? The do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Or here in that, if I start on an E flat, so it's those notes that we've heard, but it's like vocals, guitar, violin, saxophone, all of us follow it. That's a major scale. I'm going to be showing you here in the next few lessons how we then start to build chords. So like if I'm back in my C scale, I'll start showing you how we start taking 3 notes and putting those together, and I'm going to start showing you how we're building those right off scales. That's why I'm really harping on these scales, so that way I start showing you the chords. So look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Practice over those scales. Take care.